Hello there, folks. How you doing today? It's your friend Phil here, Project Management Trainer and Coach. Remember, I promised I would keep on talking about how to ace the PMP exam across the different process groups. Well, today we're going to be talking about executing. Of course, you know, I always refer to your favorite book throughout. So if you don't have your PMBOK guide on your phone, on your smartphone, on your iPad, on your mobile device, what are you doing? You need it. You need it. It's your favorite book. It has to be your favorite book until you get certified. A lot of people say it's just a bunch of garbage. I don't agree. I'm sorry. I've seen different projects in which I can apply the standards talked about here, the best practices talked about here. I've been on so many projects, and I see this stuff as being something pragmatic and something real that you can actually take back and use. And executing on the PMP exam is all about being pragmatic with what you planned. Not just planning, but actually carrying out the plan, executing the plan, okay? So what do you need to do well in executing? I am going to refer you to a favorite page of mine in the PMBOK guide. And while I go to that page, can you guess what my favorite page for executing is? Have you ever heard of Appendix X3? Well, that is exactly what I'm talking about, Appendix X3. You want to read Appendix X3 and understand all that the PMI tells you about interpersonal skills. Because contrary to what a lot of people think about the PMP exam, that it's going to be full of formulas riddled with earned value till the cows come home and scheduling and all that kind of stuff, it could have some of that, but the executing process group, folks, on the PMP exam is really focused on interpersonal skills, human resource management, communications management, and stakeholder management, okay? Those are the big ticket areas when it comes to executing on the PMP exam. So Appendix X3 is on page, do I hear a drum roll in the background? Can someone give us a drum roll? This is going to be one of the longest drum rolls in any of my videos. Come on, Appendix X3, where are you? Okay, Appendix X3 is on page, you ready for it? Page 513, folks. 513. That's where you've got interpersonal skills. So we're talking about leadership, team building, motivation, communications, influencing, decision making, political and cultural awareness, negotiation, trust building, conflict management, and coaching. Whew. Can you imagine 2 or 3 questions on each of these on the exam? The reason why a lot of people probably can't is because they don't even know what these are. So read them up, read them up, read them up. You see, there's a difference between leading as a servant leader versus leading by being a dictator or trying to lead by being a dictator, right? Or leading through directing versus leading through facilitating. Or leading by being a servant leader or trying to lead by being the expert, okay? Or trying to lead by being the project manager, which typically doesn't work in a lot of matrix firms. So read up this stuff, folks, because on the PMP exam, you'll be given very pragmatic questions when it comes to executing. You need to know what it is to acquire the team, develop the team, and manage the team. Now, when it comes to managing the team and dealing with conflicts, you need to be all over conflict resolution, folks. You need to know the difference between withdrawal or avoidance versus compromise. You need to know what it means to smooth. You need to know what it means to withdraw, you know, as I said previously. All that stuff, you need to have it down. You also need to be aware of something called confronting. Now, confronting isn't bad. It's confronting the issue, and that is collaborating. confront, collaborate. You need to know all of these differences of terminology when it comes to conflict resolution. Another big one for the PMP exam is the ladder. Whose ladder is it? What's his name again? the 5-rung ladder. You know what I'm talking about? 5 stages of team development. That's it. You need to really know the difference between forming, norming, storming, performing, adjourning, also known as mourning. That stuff you need to be totally all over it because you could get questions on it. When it comes to little bits and pieces as far as getting feedback when a team has gone for training and using that feedback when you're managing the team, being aware of the outputs of developing the team that become an input to managing the team, that stuff is big. So acquire, develop, manage. If you have not taken time out to study, acquire, develop, and manage, as 3 different pieces on their own, I would suggest you do that. Maybe you use one day to do acquire, develop, manage. And then you've got manage communications. Study manage communications on its own. Know the difference between managed communications and control communications. Know the difference between managed stakeholder engagement and control stakeholder engagement. Know what it means to direct and manage project work, folks. Hey, work performance data, very important. Know that your work performance data comes from direct and manage, but you also need to know all the places it goes, all of those monitoring and controlling processes. So there's interaction between executing and monitoring and controlling. Know that. Work performance information. Understand where it comes from, where it goes. Very important. Also, as you do this, try to understand work performance reports, the place of these work performance reports from monitor and control project work, because these become an input. They become an input to where? To manage communications. They become an input also to monitor and controlling in the procurement aspect. So in control procurement, you have your work performance reports as well. So understand all of these interactions, WPD, WPI, WPR, and how these all interrelate as far as the PMP exam is concerned. Okay? Final thing I would like to call your attention to, folks, beyond your favorite book, the PMBOK guide, and having that on your smartphone, I would also like to call your attention to the PMP exam content outline. If you have not downloaded a copy of the PMP exam content outline and you have not honed in into executing, I'll ask you, what are you doing? How are you going to pass the exam if you don't know what the exam is based on? If you don't know the blueprint for the exam, folks? So it's the executing process group on page 12 of the PMP exam content outline. Read all those tasks. There are about 7 tasks there. Acquiring and managing project resources, managing task execution, implementing the quality management plan. Hey, that's an important one. I didn't talk about QA, the difference between QA and QC. Make sure you've got that down. Quality assurance, check in the process. Quality control, check in the product. Know the difference. What about implementing approved change requests, changes, corrective actions, and so on, task 4. That is huge on your PMP exam, task 4, right there on page 12. What about task 5? Implementing approved actions by following the risk management plan. Do you know one of the tricks about writing these questions is to make you think that approved actions are a big deal, or make you think that making a change is a bad thing. No, it's not. Sometimes in order to carry out these actions to counteract risks that have manifested, you need change requests. So change requests should not always be shut down. In fact, they shouldn't be shut down. You should let the change request go through its normal life, putting it in writing, having the change control board review it, so on and so forth. Also, managing the flow of information by following the communications plan, task 6. And lastly, maintain stakeholder relationships. And that's the big difference between manage stakeholder engagement versus control stakeholder engagement. Okay, folks, well, that's it. Those are my tips for killing the exam in the executing area. You're going to have to Take time out of your busy schedule and hone in to executing probably for 2 or 3 days. I would also recommend going to YouTube and typing in 40 days to PMP exam success and actually going through my videos for executing, direct and manage project work, perform quality assurance, acquire project team, develop project team, manage communications, manage stakeholder engagement, and I didn't mention the one in procurement, conduct procurement. So in conduct procurement, all of those numerous tools and techniques, hey, that's additional stuff you're going to have to study. Understanding how negotiations would look like in conduct procurement, understanding the plethora of tools. Well, I hope that helps you today, folks. I wish you all the very best on the PMP exam. Remember, we have the PMBOK Guide 6th edition. Oh dear, coming out on the 6th. The 6th coming out on the 6th. It's beginning to sound like a 666 thing. Thank goodness we don't have 6 knowledge areas or six process groups now. But with the advent of Agile, it almost seems like it's a 6th process group. But in all seriousness, folks, if you don't want to find yourself taking the 6th edition exam, please buckle up and let's do this thing and get certified on the 5th. All right. Thank you very much for your audience. And remember, visit Praizion.com and PMSucceed.com for your project management and PMP exam training. Bye for now.